It sounds harsh, but hear this carefully. The people who constantly sacrifice their own needs to make others comfortable often end up feeling invisible, exhausted, and deeply unappreciated. If you always say yes, always agree, always avoid conflict, and always put yourself last, you're not being kind. You're slowly teaching the world that your time, energy, and value don't matter. The question is, how much of your life have you given away just to be liked? Many people spend their entire lives believing that being available all the time is a sign of kindness, loyalty, and good character. They answer every phone call immediately, respond to every message the moment it arrives, and rush to help whenever someone asks. At first glance, this seems admirable. Society often praises people who are always there for others. But there is a hidden cost that most people never see until it is too late. Imagine two people. The first person is always available. No matter the time, no matter the situation, they will drop what they are doing to accommodate others. The second person is helpful too, but they value their time. They have priorities, goals, and personal standards. They help when they can, but they don't abandon their own responsibilities every time someone makes a request. Which person do you think people ultimately respect more? The answer surprises many people. People tend to respect those who respect themselves. When you constantly make yourself available, you unintentionally send a message that your time is not valuable. Human nature often works this way. We appreciate things that have limits. We value things that are protected. When something is endlessly available, we begin to take it for granted. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever gone out of your way to help someone repeatedly, only to feel unappreciated later? Have you ever sacrificed your own plans, your own rest, or your own goals for someone else's convenience, only to discover that they barely noticed your effort? This happens because what begins as generosity can slowly become expectation. The more you give without limits, the more people assume that you will always give. This doesn't mean people are evil. Most of the time, they are simply responding to the patterns you create. If you always answer immediately, people expect immediate answers. If you always say yes, people expect agreement. If you never protect your time, people assume your time belongs to them. Successful people understand something that average people often overlook. Time is life. Every hour you spend can never be recovered. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can return, but time is gone forever. That is why high achievers guard their schedules carefully. They understand that every unnecessary commitment steals energy from the goals that matter most. Look at some of the most successful individuals in business, sports, and leadership. They are not respected because they are available to everyone. They are respected because they know what deserves their attention and what doesn't. They have learned to say no, not because they are selfish, but because they understand that saying yes to everything means accomplishing nothing meaningful. Many people fear setting boundaries because they worry about disappointing others. They imagine that people will become angry, offended, or distant. But the opposite is often true. Healthy boundaries create healthy relationships. When people know that your time is valuable, they begin to treat it that way. They think more carefully before making requests. They respect your priorities because you have demonstrated that your priorities matter. Boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They are guidelines that protect what is important. They help you maintain your focus, your energy, and your self-respect. Without boundaries, life becomes a constant cycle of reacting to other people's demands. With boundaries, you take control of your direction and your future. One of the most powerful things you can learn is that every time you say no to something unnecessary, you are saying yes to something important. You are saying yes to your goals, yes to your health, yes to your peace of mind, yes to the future you are trying to build. Every successful person eventually realizes that protecting their time is not selfish. It is essential. The truth is simple but powerful. People will treat your time the way you treat it. If you act as though your time has no value, others will believe it has no value. If you protect it, respect it, and use it intentionally, others will begin to respect it too. The moment you stop making yourself endlessly available and start setting clear boundaries, You send a powerful message to the world. Your life matters, your goals matter, and your time matters. And that single shift can change everything. One of the greatest traps people fall into is the desire to be liked by everyone. It sounds harmless at first. After all, who doesn't want approval, acceptance, and positive relationships? The problem begins when the need to be liked becomes stronger than the desire to be authentic. When that happens, people start making decisions based on what others think instead of what they truly believe. And slowly, without realizing it, they begin losing themselves. Many people spend years trying to avoid criticism. They carefully choose their words, hide their opinions, and constantly adjust their behavior depending on who is around them. They become experts at reading the room and giving people exactly what they want to hear. While this may create temporary approval, it comes at a heavy cost. Every time you pretend to be someone you're not, you move further away from the person you were meant to become. The truth that many people struggle to accept is that no one can be liked by everyone. It is impossible. No matter how kind, talented, intelligent, or generous you are, there will always be people who misunderstand you, disagree with you, or simply don't connect with you. Some people will criticize your ambition. Others will criticize your confidence. Some will judge you for speaking up, while others will judge you for staying quiet. Think about some of the most successful individuals in history. They all had critics. They all faced rejection. They all encountered people who doubted them. Yet they continued moving forward because they understood a powerful principle. Success is not built on universal approval. It is built on staying true to your purpose even when others don't understand it. Imagine a ship in the middle of the ocean. If the captain changes direction every time someone gives a different opinion, the ship will never reach its destination. It will drift endlessly, pulled in countless directions. Many people live their lives this way. They allow every opinion, every criticism, and every expectation to influence their path. As a result, they become lost. The desire to please everyone often begins with fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being judged, fear of disappointing others. These fears can become so powerful that people start sacrificing their own dreams just to maintain approval. They stay in relationships that make them unhappy. They remain in jobs they hate. They avoid pursuing their goals because they worry about what others might think. But there is something important to understand. The people who truly matter in your life do not require you to abandon yourself in order to earn their acceptance. Genuine relationships are built on honesty, not performance. Real respect comes when people know who you truly are, not when they only know the version of you that constantly seeks approval. There comes a moment in every person's growth journey when they must choose between being liked and being authentic. It is not always an easy choice. Authenticity often requires courage. It means expressing your ideas even when they are unpopular. It means setting boundaries even when others dislike them. It means pursuing your goals even when people doubt you. The surprising thing is that when you stop trying to please everyone, you often gain more respect. People are naturally drawn to those who are confident in their values and comfortable with who they are. Confidence is attractive because it shows strength. It shows that a person is guided by principles rather than by the opinions of the crowd. This doesn't mean becoming rude, arrogant, or dismissive of others. It simply means refusing to make approval the center of your life. You can still be kind. You can still listen to others. You can still treat people with respect, but you no longer allow their opinions to determine your worth. At the end of life, the greatest regret is rarely that someone disliked you. The greatest regret is often realizing that you spent years living according to other people's expectations instead of your own dreams. Time passes quickly. Opportunities disappear. Potential remains unrealized when people spend too much energy seeking validation. The moment you accept that not everyone will like you, a tremendous sense of freedom appears. You stop wasting energy trying to impress everyone. You stop apologizing for your ambitions. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into places where you don't belong. Instead, you begin building a life that reflects your true values, your true purpose, and your true identity. And that is where real confidence begins, not when everyone approves of you, but when you no longer need everyone to approve of you in order to believe in yourself. One of the most powerful truths you can learn in life is that every time you say yes to something, you are automatically saying no to something else. Most people never think about this. They see every request, invitation, favor, or opportunity as a separate decision. But life doesn't work that way. Time, energy, and attention are limited resources. Every commitment takes a piece of them. The question is not whether you are giving something away. The question is what you are sacrificing in return. Many people have developed the habit of saying yes without thinking. Someone asks for help, and they immediately agree. Someone invites them somewhere, and they accept. Someone needs a favor, and they drop everything to make it happen. They do this because they want to be helpful, kind, and supportive. But over time, this pattern creates a dangerous problem. Their own priorities slowly move to the bottom of the list. Think about how often this happens in everyday life. You plan to wake up early and exercise, but someone asks for your time, and you agree. You promise yourself that you will work on a personal goal, learn a new skill, or start a side project, but unexpected requests keep appearing. One small interruption may not seem significant, but repeated interruptions create a completely different future. Success is rarely destroyed by one major mistake. More often, it is destroyed by thousands of small distractions that steal time from what truly matters. Imagine a person who dreams of starting a business. Every evening, they plan to work on it. But each day, they say yes to unnecessary commitments. They attend events they don't want to attend. They spend hours solving problems that aren't theirs. They constantly make themselves available for everyone else. Months pass, then years. The dream remains exactly where it started, not because they lack talent, but because they never protected the time needed to make it real. The reality is that every yes has a hidden cost. When you say yes to endless distractions, you say no to progress. When you say yes to unnecessary obligations, you say no to freedom. When you say yes to pleasing everyone, you say no to your own growth. Most people only see the immediate reward of saying yes. They avoid discomfort. They avoid disappointing someone. They avoid conflict. What they fail to see is the long-term price they are paying. Every unnecessary commitment takes energy away from their future. Highly successful people understand this principle better than most. They know that focus is one of the most valuable assets a person can have. They don't protect their schedule because they are selfish. They protect it because they know their goals require attention, consistency, and effort. Look at elite athletes, successful entrepreneurs, top performers, and great leaders. Their success is not only the result of what they choose to do, it is also the result of what they choose not to do. They say no to distractions. They say no to activities that don't align with their priorities. They understand that discipline is often less about adding more and more to your life and more about removing what doesn't belong. One reason people struggle to say no is guilt. They worry about appearing selfish or unkind. But there is a difference between helping others and constantly sacrificing yourself. Helping should come from generosity, not obligation. If every yes leaves you feeling frustrated, exhausted, and resentful, then it is not generosity anymore. It is self-neglect. Before agreeing to something, it is helpful to pause and ask a simple question. What am I giving up by saying yes to this? That single question can change your decision-making process completely. Suddenly, the hidden costs become visible. You realize that a favor might cost you an hour of focused work. An unnecessary meeting might cost you valuable time with your family. A distraction might cost you momentum on a goal that could transform your future. Your dreams need time. Your health needs time. Your relationships need time. Your personal growth needs time. These things cannot thrive if every spare moment is consumed by other people's demands. The people who create extraordinary lives are not necessarily more talented than everyone else. They are often simply better at protecting what matters most. They understand that every yes shapes their future. That is why they choose carefully. The next time you feel pressured to automatically agree, stop for a moment. Remember that every yes carries a hidden no. Make sure the thing you are saying yes to is truly worth the thing you are giving up, because the quality of your life is ultimately determined by what you choose to prioritize. And your future depends on those choices far more than most people realize. Many people believe that kindness alone is enough to navigate life successfully. They take pride in being generous, helpful, patient, and understanding. These are wonderful qualities, and the world certainly needs more of them. However, there is a critical truth that many people learn only after experiencing disappointment and heartbreak. Kindness without strength often invites exploitation. At first, this idea may sound uncomfortable. After all, being kind is usually viewed as a virtue. But kindness becomes dangerous when it is not supported by confidence, self-respect, and the ability to set limits. When people are kind but unable to stand up for themselves, they become vulnerable to those who see kindness not as a gift, but as an opportunity. There is an important difference between helping someone because you genuinely want to help, and helping someone because you are afraid of saying no. From the outside, both actions may appear identical. The person still offers assistance. The favor still gets done. But internally, the motivations are completely different. When kindness comes from strength, it feels empowering. You choose to help because it aligns with your values. You do it freely, without resentment or pressure. But when kindness comes from fear, it often feels draining. You help because you fear disappointing someone. You help because you worry they may become angry or reject you. Over time, this pattern creates frustration because your actions are no longer guided by choice, but by anxiety. Unfortunately, not everyone in life has good intentions. While many people appreciate kindness, others actively look for individuals who struggle to establish boundaries. They recognize those who always agree, always give in, and rarely challenge unreasonable demands. These individuals become easy targets because they prioritize other people's comfort over their own well-being. Think about how often this happens. Someone repeatedly asks for favors, but rarely offers help in return. A coworker constantly shifts responsibilities onto another person because they know that person won't object. A friend continuously takes advantage of someone's generosity without showing genuine appreciation. In each case, kindness is being mistaken for weakness. The problem is not the kindness itself. The problem is the absence of strength behind it. True strength does not mean becoming aggressive, rude, or selfish. It means having the courage to protect yourself when necessary. It means understanding that your needs matter too. It means being able to say no without feeling guilty, and standing firm even when others dislike your decision. The strongest people are often among the kindest people you will ever meet. They are generous, compassionate, and supportive. But they also possess clear boundaries. They know exactly what behavior they will accept and what behavior they will not tolerate. Because of this, their kindness carries weight. People understand that their generosity is a choice, not an obligation. Imagine a tree during a storm. A weak tree bends until it breaks because it lacks the strength to withstand pressure. A strong tree may sway with the wind, but its roots keep it grounded. In the same way, strong individuals can remain kind even when faced with difficult people because they are firmly rooted in self-respect. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that standing up for themselves will make them seem selfish. In reality, healthy self-protection is not selfish at all. It is necessary. You cannot continually give away your time, energy, and emotional resources without eventually becoming exhausted. If you never protect yourself, you will have nothing left to give. This is why learning to say no is one of the most important skills a person can develop. Every time you say no to something unhealthy, you are saying yes to your own well-being. Every time you refuse to tolerate disrespect, you reinforce your self-worth. Every time you choose your peace over unnecessary drama, you strengthen your confidence. Many people fear conflict, so they avoid it at all costs. They stay silent when they should speak. They agree when they should disagree. They tolerate behavior that they know is wrong. While this may create temporary peace, it often leads to long-term pain. Problems that are ignored rarely disappear. Instead, they grow larger over time. Strength allows you to address issues directly and honestly. It allows you to communicate your needs without apology. It allows you to remain respectful while refusing to be taken advantage of. This balance is what separates empowered kindness from self-destructive kindness. The goal is not to become cold or distant. The goal is to become someone whose kindness comes from choice rather than fear. Someone who helps because they want to, not because they feel trapped. Someone who can be compassionate without becoming a victim of manipulation. The truth is that the world respects people who respect themselves. When your kindness is supported by confidence and strong boundaries, people recognize its value. They understand that your generosity is something to appreciate, not something to exploit. And when kindness and strength work together, they create a powerful combination that allows you to help others while still protecting your own peace, dignity, and future. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that their most valuable resource is money. In reality, your most valuable resource is energy. Money can be lost and earned again. Opportunities can disappear and return. But once your energy is drained, every area of your life begins to suffer. Your focus weakens, your motivation declines, your productivity drops, and even simple tasks start feeling overwhelming. The problem is that many people protect their money more carefully than they protect their energy. They think twice before spending $100, but they willingly spend hours dealing with unnecessary drama, toxic relationships, pointless arguments, and endless distractions. They allow other people's problems to consume their mental space until they are too exhausted to work on their own goals. This often happens to people who are overly friendly. Because they don't want to disappoint anyone, they become available to everyone. Friends call with problems, coworkers bring them extra responsibilities, family members expect constant attention, and negative people dump their frustrations onto them. Over time, they become the emotional support system for everyone around them while neglecting their own needs. At first, it feels manageable, but eventually, the weight becomes too heavy. They wake up tired, lose enthusiasm for their goals, and feel emotionally exhausted without understanding why. The issue isn't necessarily that they are working too hard. The issue is that they are carrying energy-draining burdens that were never theirs to carry. Every person, conversation, and environment either adds energy to your life or takes energy away from it. Successful people understand this principle deeply. They pay close attention to what affects their mental and emotional state. They are careful about who they spend time with, what information they consume, and where they direct their attention. This doesn't mean avoiding people or becoming selfish. It means being intentional. It means recognizing that your energy is limited and choosing to invest it where it creates the greatest return. The more focused your energy becomes, the more progress you make toward your goals. Think about a phone battery. If dozens of applications are running in the background all day, the battery drains quickly. Human beings work the same way. Unresolved conflicts, unnecessary obligations, toxic relationships, and constant distractions run in the background of your mind, quietly stealing your energy. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not always the smartest or most talented. Often, they are simply better at protecting their energy. They understand that energy fuels discipline, focus, creativity, and growth. When you learn to guard your energy carefully, you gain the power to show up fully for your goals, your purpose, and the life you are trying to build. At the heart of every confident, successful, and respected person is one powerful quality: self-respect. Without it, people spend their lives chasing approval, tolerating poor treatment, and constantly putting their own needs last. With it, everything begins to change. Many people become overly friendly because they believe their value comes from being useful to others. They think that if they always help, always agree, and always make people happy, they will earn love, respect, and acceptance. But the truth is that respect cannot be earned by abandoning yourself. In fact, the more you ignore your own needs to please others, the more likely people are to take you for granted. Self-respect means recognizing your own worth even when others fail to recognize it. It means understanding that your time, energy, goals, and feelings are just as important as everyone else's. It means refusing to accept behavior that damages your peace simply because you are afraid of disappointing someone. When you develop genuine self-respect, your decisions begin to change. You stop saying yes when you want to say no. You stop apologizing for having boundaries. You stop chasing validation from people who never intended to appreciate you. Instead, you start making choices based on what aligns with your values and your future. One of the most powerful effects of self-respect is that it changes how others treat you. People often follow the standards you set for yourself. If you constantly tolerate disrespect, others assume it is acceptable. If you protect your boundaries and stand firm in your values, people learn that you expect to be treated with dignity. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or believing you are better than others. True self-respect is quiet. It doesn't demand attention or seek approval. It simply refuses to settle for less than what is healthy and fair. The moment you stop sacrificing your identity to gain acceptance is the moment your confidence starts to grow. And when self-respect becomes your foundation, you no longer need everyone to approve of you because you have already learned to approve of yourself.